while it's locked down and I can't travel for fishing, I haven't got many options, and I've blanked in the last 2 times, so I thought I'll get back to doing a float making video, and I'm going to try and do this one a bit quicker and a bit more snappy than the other float making videos I've done, which tend to ramble on. So with that in mind, I'm going to stop talking and show you what I've been doing. So these are just going to be super simple stick floats. They're not going to have any eyes on them. They're just going to be a balsa stick float that you can fish on a still water or a moving water using float elastics or float rubbers. All you're going to need for this make are some balsa sticks, some paint to paint the tips with, some thread to do some whipping with, and that really is pretty much it. And you'll need obviously a paintbrush and some sandpaper. So I've got these balsa dowels on eBay. They come in loads of different sizes. A selection there, and they're not that expensive. And I mean, you know, if you want to buy nice balsa floats, they do work out quite a cheap way of doing it, and you also get to make them look how you want. And so all you do to actually get the float shape is just sand the tips down, really, just to sort of you could feasibly use that as is. That would work, you know, that would put that on the line and it'd work. But we want this to have a nice coloured sight tip on it and a little bit of decorative whipping. So just nice, and it's quite a fine sandpaper. I'm just twisting and sanding to round that off. There you go. Hopefully you can see that there. It's just rounded off. There's another one there. I've almost done that a bit more pointy, that one, but yeah, just that's really it. So that's the shaping done, and now what I'm going to do is just work out how tall I want the tip on it and get some white paint on them, which is the undercoat, before I put on the fluorescent colours. Right, there you can see the tips are all sanded, or well, this one is, and I've started putting the paint on it. This is just a water-based emulsion that you just use for slapping on in decorating. Paint white, you know, painting the walls white. I've decanted it into a small pot, and I find it's really great for putting an undercoat on. The undercoat, the reason you want to put a white undercoat on is when you put the fluorescent paints on, you really want them to fluoresce and sort of glow nice and highly visible. And if you don't have the white, they don't tend to do that. So that's the reasoning behind that. Just have this white bit as long as you like. I'm probably going to make it a little bit longer than this. I'm going to have a white band on these floats as well as the coloured sight tip. I'll show you that as I go along. Right, there you go, guys. You can see it's got its white tip there. That's now had probably about 5 fairly thin coats of the white emulsion, and now it's ready to get its coloured tip. So make sure you do the end, plenty of paint on the end, so the end grain will soak that all up. These are a bit, I got these brushes online, they're a little bit cheapy, to be honest. I think probably need some better fine artist brushes to get a nice straight line there. So you can see I've left a bit of white there, because that's going to be a white sort of band. So it's going to be a black band of whipping there, white, a black band of whipping there, and that'll be it, really. I mean, you know, these are so quick and so easy to do that what's going to take the time is the varnishing and letting the varnish dry. So I mean, I've let it is the next day from doing the white. I let the white fully dry overnight before I've gone on to the coloured tips. So I'll crack on with these and then come back to you when they're all painted. Right, there you go. They're all painted. You can see I've whipped one. I just did that just to sort of get my eye and see what it looks like. And I'm going to now just show you whipping a band on to one of the others. I've put the 2 little bands at the bottom of the float there, just really as a I suppose decorative. That's not really the right word, is it? It's not exactly decorative, but just I like the symmetry of it. Just, you know, just so it's just not a plain stick, really, and get me a bit of practice in whipping. The thread I'm using is just this got it on eBay. You get 1.3 kilometers for about £4. It's quite a thick one. It's not exactly fine artistic whipping. I have got some very fine silk for doing that, but to be honest, because I just use these for myself, I'm not too worried what they look like. I just want them to be functional, really, and so I'm not going to cry too much if I cast one into a tree, which I invariably will. Right, I'll show you the whipping of the band onto this. This is not the definitive guide to it, it's just how I do it. There are great videos on YouTube. Sorry if there's a bit of shadow, I'm trying to do this over the top of the... Right, let's show you the whipping. The thread I'm using is this stuff. It's like a man-made fibre thread. It's quite a silky one. It's quite, yeah, it's been great. And I mean, it's not detailed, super neat, fine lines, but I don't make these for other people. They're just for me to use. So I just want them to be functional, really. And this is nice and easy to use, nice and thick, nice and strong, so you can't break it very easily. So just when you're practicing whipping, it's good to use. And also, if I cast it into a tree, I'm not going to know I've spent hours of time making them absolutely perfect. So start the whipping. You just take a turn round, sort of go over the first turn with the second turn to kind of trap the line or the thread, and then take a few turns. So don't go on top of each other for all the turns. Make sure they're nice and flat. And then cut this tag end off, because you don't want that anymore. I'd use a little craft scalpel there. One more turn just to trap that cut end. And then get your drawstring, which is just another piece of the cord or line or whatever, thread. Make a loop. So this is totally separate from the spool. It's just a short piece, few inches. Make a loop, lie it on the loop, the direction you're whipping in, and then whip that into the band. So I always try and do 3 turns if I can. 1, 2, 3. I'll have one more for luck. Making a bit of a thick band, but as I say, I'm not counting these. I'm not kind of making them all the same. These are just for me. If I was doing a set for a present for someone, then I would try and make them all, you know, basically count the whippings, so you get them all uniform and stuff like that. And it's up to you. You know, some of you perfectionists out there might want to really sort of you know, have them all exactly the same if you want to make a nice set for presentation purposes. But as I said, this is just for me, for chucking around down the chalk stream. So I'll just cut that off the spool, and then you take the tag end, put it through the loop that you've whipped in, and then you just pull it through. That's it. So just pull it tight. Make sure that's all flat and nice, which it is. Then just cut this off nice and close to the whipping, so you don't get it sticking out, and jobs are good. And I think that scalpel needs sharpening. There you go. That's your band whipped on. I'm going to put another one there, 2 more there, and I'm going to repeat the rest for the other floats, and eventually they'll look like that, and then they'll be ready for varnishing. I'm going to put my logo on them as well, just with a water slide decal. But yeah, I mean, it's so quick and easy. You can whip an eye onto these. Just get a snipped off safety pin or a bit of florist wire bent into a loop, and you can whip an eye on. If you want to see details of that, have a look at me making the insert waggler video or the little roach float video. So there's I've got a few videos up now. I'm not a float making channel by any means, but I just want to sort of do this to show you what's possible. You know, you don't have to spend a fortune. Handmade floats are actually really expensive, and if you lose as many floats as I do, this is a really good way of replenishing your stocks. And I can't go out fishing as much as I'd like at the moment. What with we're sort of restricted to local places, that there isn't anywhere in the same town as me apart from one lake, and I've not been doing too well there. So I think I've got a bit of a mental block with it. Well, there they are, painted and whipped. I've just taped them to the edge of the table there, and I'm going to varnish them. Because they haven't got an eye on them, they take ages to varnish. You have to do it in 2 halves, or at least varnish the body of it, and then varnish the ends. And because these can have minimum of 8 coats of varnish, possibly even 10 or even 12, then it will take quite a long while. So I'll try and get you a picture of that for the end of the video, just so I can show you what they're like. But this was just the finished article. These are just obviously just sticks of balsa, so you can use anything really: reed, buddleia, elder, teasel, anything that floats really. Stuff in your garden, you'd be surprised what you can cut out and use. So I definitely would urge you to give it a go, just you know, just to show you what's possible for a stick float. Well, there you go, guys, that's it, they're done. Nice glossy varnish on them, that gives them a nice waterproof coating. They ended up with 9 coats in the end, so not as many as I thought I'd need. I've still yet to do the bottoms of them, but I'm going to do that at my leisure, because I was doing these coats every 4 to 5 hours, so it's quite sort of intensive on the old time, sort of trying to remember to do a coat. But I wanted to get them done for this video. So yeah, I'm really pleased with them. I think they're going to work a treat, and yeah, hopefully that's been useful for you. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Cheers, guys. Fish on.